Lots of energy this morning? Yeah. How about those keynote presentations? Wasn't that fabulous? Yes, after all of that. Well, we want to welcome you to this fabulous panel on starting your business on a shoestring budget. How about that for a title? Yeah. Well, I want all of you to know that you're in for a treat this morning. We have a fabulous panel here for you to give you some great tips on getting your business started and not breaking the bank while you're doing it. Does that sound good to you? Yeah. Wonderful. We're going to start off this morning by some self-introductions. I'll start by saying my name is Natalie Orta. I work at the Los Angeles District Office of the U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA. We have offices across the country, and we do presentations on this all the time to educate small business owners on how to go about starting your business, growing your business, and succeeding with your business. And it's a pleasure for me to be here with you this morning. Let's start with introductions from the left here. Let's listen to Leslie Barber tell us a little bit about herself. Leslie?
So about a year and a half ago, I left Nutrabella and joined the Intuit QuickBooks team. And as I joke, I went to the other side. And part of why I did that was because I had lived in the trenches, as we all do, starting a business and running a business and growing a business. And I wanted to be able to bring that experience, those highs, those lows, all of those mistakes I made, all the successes we had, to all of the millions of people who use QuickBooks, and be able to influence a company like Intuit to remember what it's like to run a small business. So it has been just a real pleasure and a dream to be part of the QuickBooks team, to be able to bring all of your voices into a company that can really help you run your business. And I'm really excited to tell you about some of the resources and products that I learned about over the last year and a half that I had no idea were even available at Intuit. I'm excited to tell you about those throughout the conversation. So thank you all for being here.
Now we're going to hear from Maureen Martinez Bo, who's an agent over at Farmers Insurance. Bo?
This one's going to work. Hi, my name is Maureen Martinez, and I go by Mo. I've been a Farmers Insurance agent, independent agent, for 10 years now. I actually started my business when my children were small because living in Southern California is not the most affordable thing on one income, and I needed something to supplement our home and our family. So I found Farmers, and I found great support with them. Oh, there you go. Now I can see you all. And it's been an interesting journey because I am a mother of 2 boys. They're both teenagers. One's going to get ready to go to college soon. And running a business as a mom and a wife and a homemaker is a juggling act. And I can truly say that it's been just a joy, and probably my 3rd child. So I have a lot of passion for what I do, and I end up helping a lot of families and with insurance and planning for their futures and for their children. So I have a lot of experience to share with you. Not a college graduate, graduated from high school, kind of learned by going along and just by doing it. So hopefully I can kind of share my story with you and help you along your path today.
Fabulous. Thank you, Mom. Can you hear me okay? And now we're going to hear from Prakash Giria, who's a professor of finance here at Cal State Dominguez, and a little PowerPoint presentation.
I'm a professor of finance here at the university. I've been teaching here since 1991, and I've been teaching finance for over 30 years. So I know a little bit of finance. 3 years ago we had a financial crisis, and so I decided I should do something for my children, who were 6 and 7 at the time. So I wrote children's books, Finance for Kids. How can I explain finance to my elementary age school children using simple examples? So that culminated into a series called Finance for Kids. So the way I teach finance is basically, simple props. Let's say if I want to teach them to manage a checking account, this glass represents the checking account, and the water represents money. the balance goes down. These are the kind of examples I've used in all my books to explain basic financial concepts. So I start with wants and needs and checking account, credit, savings, risk and return. That topic I teach to my students at the university. But I think it's so important that children should know it, so I wrote a book on that. Then after that, I wrote a book on law for kids. Again, using their experiences and explaining legal concepts through those experiences. When I say their experiences, they are children. Age group, right now they are 8 and 9. But, using what they do during the day and creating all the legal concepts that can be explained through their personal experiences. So that's where my background is from. So, okay, so this is that's one of the basic introduction. So, I'm a late addition to the program, so you may not have my information. But if you want a copy of these slides, just come and leave me and I'll give you the business card and I'll give you the So my presentation is basically based on the word shoestring. I'm not looking at building a business, but how to make it cheap and using a shoestring budget. So this is my assumption. Free is better than paying. I think you can all agree with that. Paying less is better than paying more for the same quality. Friends, relatives, and old teachers are very good salesmen or ambassadors. These are the things I'm going with. And then free publicity beats paid advertising. So this is where I come from. I'm very cheap. And I really think you can do it because I happened to become a businessman not because I wanted to be, but just because I thought I needed to educate my children. So this whole thing started based on the endeavor. So what are the free resources that we can get? YouTube teaches, there's a lot of videos on business-related subjects. In this Khan Academy,
we do have audio.
Khan Academy also has some resources on how to do business or how to learn about different aspects of business. And then SBA.gov, I'm sure Natalie can attest to that. Has a lot of, and even AARP, they have a lot of resources for starting a business. I know their focus is on senior citizens, but the same principles can apply to you guys. And then small business development centers also is a very inexpensive way of getting knowledge. And then now from free we come to cheap. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but you can get some benefit, some resources. In your local chamber of commerce, if you become a member, can help you there. Networking mixer, all it costs is maybe 10, 20 bucks to get into the mixer, and you can meet a lot of people from different disciplines. Then LinkedIn, meetups, I'm sure you are very familiar with it. And business coaches I've never used, but I heard they are good. So sometimes they can be helpful. Again, you don't have to copy everything down, I can make this available to you, so don't worry. Then I'll go into specific areas of business, like accounting, finance, taxes. These are just this is my perspective. And I know this is sponsored by the Board of Equalization, the Tax Authority. So accounting, if you're a sole proprietor, then I suggest using QuickBooks. I know they don't pay me to say that, but I've been using it, and if I can do it, it will. In taxes, you must find ways to save on your taxes whenever possible. Let's say you came to this conference. So you probably can deduct the mileage of your trip from your house to this place. Anything that you spend, if it's business related, you can deduct it. So, let's say you want to buy a nice outfit. Assuming you go for an interview, I think you can deduct that. So, you've got to think whatever you do during a day, see if you can deduct it. If you can deduct it, why not deduct it and save taxes? That's my philosophy. So again, you may go on vacation, but there's no law which says that you cannot hunt jobs while on vacation. So if you do that, you can get a job hunting expertise. I hope I don't get in trouble soon. But same thing with, I'm an author, I can go anywhere in this world, and I can go to all the bookstores and tell them, would you like to look at my books? And so for me, that would be a job and business experience, because I'm trying to promote my books. So if you can find a way to deduct expenses that you normally incur, you never think of it as deducting, but now maybe you should talk to your tax accountant and ask them, can I deduct this? Particularly things like memberships, gym memberships, outfits, business outfits, lunches. If it is remotely connected with generating business, then please consider saving on taxes. I'm not a tax accountant, but I know tax accountants who have suggested that. Why not deduct it? So there are, now we come to the other parts, other areas of business, which is functional, like recruiting, for example. You know, when I was looking for an illustrator for my book, I solicited bids from many places. The guy I had was from Craigslist, and he happened to be in Indonesia. And if I were to show you two illustrations, and they are identical, I mean, they are illustrations, you will not know which one is cheaper, because one of them was 5 times more expensive than the other one, but you won't know that. So that's why I suggest using your technology or internet to get very inexpensive resources. Best is to seek bids where people from all over the world apply for your job, and then you decide based on the quality which one you hire. And you can save a lot of money. I know I'm not a businessman. I'm a salaried state employee, and I have no risk. I don't have that much resources, but so this is how I went about doing it. I went through some like Finance, Guru, and Odesk. Odesk is the one I like the most. In production, I don't know if you're into production. You're producing a product, and maybe consider using a garage or your home to make something, to make a prototype. In office, use a cell phone and laptop. I know that's really what we do. Then how do I add things? That's me wearing a hat with the word author on it and just distributing pamphlets. Those are my books. And here, wherever you're out, you try to promote your business. Always think about your business whenever you're out in the real world. This is another way. This is what I mean by putting something on your neck and promoting your business. This is just one way, just to give you an example. That was my Halloween costume. So use Facebook, Google. I mean, they are inexpensive sources, but you have to be very careful with them too. And then to get money, you must have heard of Kickstarter. I think there are some sessions on Kickstarter. Crowdfunding, getting money for your business. Lendingclub.com, you don't have to go through banks. You just post a request, and then if some investor is interested in your project, he may fund you. And finally, your success will depend on how you deal with customer complaints, how you manage your time. And if you cannot do it yourself, find somebody who has the resources, who has the expertise, and try to offer partnerships with them. And I think that way you will. Your stats of success are much higher. Eventually, assuming you get successful, you will need all these people, but until then, you try to do it yourself. You need a tax accountant, you need a sales force. Find ways to diversify, very important. I started with books, then somebody from the Middle East wrote to me and said, hey, what about us? Why don't you write books in Arabic? So I had to find a translator who would do it in Arabic. So that was my first book translation. And then I looked at all the populations of the world, which country has the most children. And so I wrote books in those languages. So after that, I started creating animations. Because all my books are stories basically, so I can easily animate them. So after animations, I looked at comics. Because when my children read comics, they don't listen to me at all. I don't exist. They're so engrossed in comics. So that's why I thought maybe I should put my books in comic form. So, and then apps, affiliate marketing, games. So, a simple product like a book, you can expand it into many different areas. And again, the law for kids was the second, and there were next in my series is healthy living for kids, architecture for kids, all the other disciplines that I can think of. Again, going the same route, the objective being teaching children complicated disciplines through stories. I think that's about it. I'm sorry I took so long.
research. And I would say you have to start by doing something you're passionate about, my friends. No passion, no business.
Yeah.
Now, let's let our panelists chip in on that. Ladies, gentlemen, where do you start? What message do you have?
Like I said, I started off, I was a homemaker at home with 2 small children in elementary school. My husband came home and said, I need you to do something for me. I need you to start an agency. And while I work, and so that we can supplement our income. And so I thought, okay, we took a look around. I met with some folks from farmers, very kind people, told them I needed to be home after school when my children got home, but that I would love to be a farmer's agent. And the only reason I say insurance and farmer's agent is because I did grow up in a household where my parents both were life insurance agents, and I swore I'd never do it. But it's funny how much opportunity there is around you and how many things, if you just open your eyes, you've been exposed to that can really help you down the path to running a successful business. And this is something I did know a little about, and I was and am very passionate about helping others. And with insurance, I'm directly helping my customers. So I talked to a district manager over at Farmers. He put me on part-time while I was learning. I got licensed. I did a lot of reading. I talked to a lot of people that were friends of mine that I considered mentors for advice. I think it's really important when you start a business to really find a core group of people that is going to be positive and lift you up and tell you you can do it. You need somebody there to tell you you can do anything, because it's not easy to start a business in California. But I did have a few people, supportive people, that started me down the path. Farmers Group was one, my district manager, and my husband obviously was there. And I had other business owners that I went to ask advice about, how to get things rolling. How do I, hire someone? How do I set up my QuickBooks, which I thought was completely foreign to me. And it's all about communicating with people around you and keeping your eyes open for opportunities that may be just there waiting for you to see them. So I think with QuickBooks too, I had help from a professional bookkeeper who was my friend and didn't charge me in the beginning, so it was very nice of her. And she actually got me started on the QuickBooks program, which is indispensable at this point after 10 years of being an insurance agent and a business owner. So I think that Leslie has a lot to say about it too, since you did you did have your own business running, and you also worked with QuickBooks to provide intel for them on how entrepreneurs work and think. So what do you think about the beginnings of starting a business and what a business professional should start off with?
All right, so I definitely second a lot of what Mo said. One of the things when I go around and talk to small business owners, the most common thing I hear is, I don't know what I don't know, right? You're starting your business, and I remember I used to lie awake at night staring at the wall saying, what am I not getting, right? And what could come and bite me? And that's the scary part. There's so many wonderful reasons to start a business. You get to follow your passion. I loved being able to employ people. I loved being my own boss. But there are also some things that you want to make sure that you look out for. And the folks who I went to ask questions about were the people who were 1 or 2 years ahead of me. So my business was in the prenatal vitamin space. So we worked with a lot of other baby and maternity entrepreneurs, and I would go to them and say, hey, I'm 1 or 2 years behind you. What are the pitfalls that you've seen? Who are the fulfillment partners you use? What are the retailers I should go talk to? And then we would also, as Prakash mentioned, we would form partnerships. I'd put my belly bars into diaper bags, or pregnancy kits, things like that. So really think about the folks who are around you and ask them for help, because not everybody is as courageous as all of you are to start your own business, but people want to help you. They want to see you succeed. They want to do whatever they can to be a part of what you're doing. So ask for help and don't be shy. In terms of products and services that you can use when you're getting started, SBA.gov is definitely awesome. I wanted to add one other, which is a company that Intuit actually recently acquired called DocStock. It's DocStoc.com. And it's free, small business owner generated content. So there are online classes you can take at any stage of your business, whether you're starting, running, growing, what have you. And it's everything from setting up your budgets to figuring out what HR issues you need to be worried about, to an employee manual wizard, and it's all free. So it's all available to you, and it's from other business owners. Yep, docstock.com, DocStoc.com. There's some great resources on there, and I tool around with it all the time and learn. One other quick thing I just wanted to mention, because of what Natalie said around passion. I'm a big believer that businesses are both an art and a science. And when I look at the businesses that succeed, the business owners are not only thinking of themselves and their passion and driving towards the customer problem that they're trying to solve, but they're also objectively standing back and looking at their business, as a science. And oftentimes small business owners, we're just focused on our passion, we're just focused on what we're excited about, and sometimes we forget the numbers. And that's where something like, honestly, like a QuickBooks can really help you. Because as business owners, you have to know the ins and outs. If you don't know it, then no one else will. I was actually recently talking to a copywriter who had started his own business, and he said, Leslie, I hate dealing with numbers. That's why I'm a writer. I don't like dealing with that stuff. And he said, but a year ago, I started on QuickBooks Online, and it was so easy that I feel like I have a 20-person accounting department. I mean, those are the moments when I want to, burst into tears and say, that's so awesome, that's why I work on these products, because if they actually do really help. Mo said it earlier, if you're organized on the back end, if you know what's coming in and out of your business, you can make decisions that will help you grow. If things are going well and you know that because you look at your accounting system and you know that things are going well, you can celebrate. If things aren't going well, then you can plan for how to make them better. Plan for how to get more revenue or cash in your business. Don't abdicate that. Make sure that you know, make sure you all understand exactly what's coming in and out of your business, and that way you can drive your passion. Because without that, you won't be able to continue your passion. So, just my little 2 cents.
Thanks, Leslie. That's great advice, and I say this all the time in presentations. You have to wrap your head around your numbers. And at some point in time, you may want to look for financing and have to explain to a banker what you're looking for. You have to be able to explain what's in that business plan. So, fear not the numbers, my friends. Wrap your heads around it, get it. And I want to mention, too, that with SBA, we have technical assistance providers. We have small business development centers where you can get free one-on-one counseling. They have classes on how to start a small business, very low cost. They have one-on-one counseling that costs absolutely nothing. It's your federal tax dollars at work. Those are our small business development centers, our women's business centers, our SCORE representatives that are there just to counsel you. That's a mentor you can have on your team. You're paying for the services. Might as well take advantage of them. At our table, I have our resource guides, which are quite fabulous, which list all of them. You can also find them on our website, just typing in your zip code. They'll tell you the closest resource partners to you. You need to take advantage of those services. Prakash, do you want to add something to that?
You must have passion for your business. And think you also need core competency. You have to ask yourself, what is that one thing that I'm really good at? And try to monetize it. Try to make some, let's say it's singing, for example. See if you can write a song or sing a song and then digitize it and make it available for somebody else to evaluate and see. Who knows? Maybe you can make some money off it. But you have to have something where you're very good at that, and then try to see if the rest of the world thinks like that too. try to monetize it. And if you do that, then I think you'll be happy as well as you'll be successful.
All right, so we've heard there's a lot of great resources out there, and that's a wonderful thing. But I think it'd be nice to discuss some of the pitfalls we should avoid when starting a small business. Because I'll tell you one thing is all here. Someone will tell me, I just quit my job and I need a loan and I signed a lease. Oh, I about pass out when I hear things like that. And there are ways of going about things right. A lot of it's about the planning, right? And we tell people lots of times, don't quit your day job. Start working in the evening. Start working on the weekends. Wait till the thing's running. There's nothing worse than all of a sudden you've dropped it. You dropped that job, you hate it, but paid you a salary. Right? And now you've signed a lease for building. You have to be paying monthly rent. Ooh. Where are you going to generate the cash flow? Now there are people who could have helped you and sat down with you and helped you plan this out. Maybe project it out a year or two. Kind of ease into it slowly, my friends, because we're so enthusiastic. But make sure you get some help and do it right. Let's think of some other tips back here. Some other good tips on pitfalls to avoid.
So one of my favorite things I've been thinking about recently with businesses is what they tell you on the airlines. Put your oxygen mask on first before you help others. As business owners, we so often don't do that, right? I know in my business, I didn't pay myself for 2 years. I lived off credit cards. I begged and pleaded. I did anything I could to put it back into the business. And it was incredibly draining. So I highly recommend that you pay yourself and pay yourself first, because you are the ones who are setting the tone, the culture, the health of the business. If you're not feeling healthy and energized and passionate and excited every day, then no one else in your organization is going to feel that. And so you have to pay yourself first and put your oxygen mask on. The other thing I would just recommend is really seconding what Natalie said around planning. Make sure that you take some time. Bill Gates talks about how when he started Microsoft, every year he would take 2 weeks out of the year, go to a cabin, leave the cell phone, everything behind, and he would recharge. He would recharge himself. He would take care of what he needed to do to rest and recuperate, because we all know we work 24/7. And he would innovate. That's when he would come up with his best ideas for what was coming up next. So take that time. Respect yourself enough to take the time to recharge. Because I know with my business, I got married 4 years into my business, and I remember I'm putting on my wedding dress. I've got the cell phone in my hand talking to our biggest customer who I sent the wrong product to, trying to solve it while they're trying to get me in my wedding dress at the same time. That is not sustainable. And when it comes down to it, the reason that I had to do that was because I was getting married and sending product to customers at the same time, which I shouldn't have been doing. So make sure that you have other people who can help you and who can fill your shoes when you need to, because if you get sick or you get married or you want to take a vacation, which you all deserve to do, you need to be able to pass that off to somebody else and let them help you. I think that's one of the hardest things that I had to learn as a small business owner, is to delegate and let other people do things in the business. But that's what helps people thrive. That's what helps your businesses grow.
And I totally agree. In starting off as an insurance agent, it's very product knowledge, and it's one-on-one with your customer. And when we started our business, I started it literally in my garage. We had file cabinets in the garage. I had a phone hooked up to my home computer, and I would go out and visit my customers in person. And because I didn't want them to see that we weren't in a professional office setting, but I didn't have the money for it at that point. We had a little savings, and I actually did take a little bit of an equity loan out on our home just so that I could get the ball rolling and I'd have a little bit of income to help. We grew the agency by hiring people that were looking for work experience or internships through our local colleges. A lot of people are looking for credit, and insurance offices are usually approved by colleges. We're out in Valencia, California, and so we have a lot of students from Master's College that come and work for us. And they're either a paid intern or an unpaid intern that would come in and learn the industry. And actually, every single person that we've brought in over the past 10 years has become a fully licensed agent. Some of them have gone off and started their own agencies. And this was very little money out of pocket. And most people value a good work environment too. And I treat the people that work with me right now, we have 8 full-time employees, and most of them are women. We have 2 men, my husband's one of them. I might bring my son on if he can learn to answer the phone properly. But it's a family-based business, and there's gonna be ups and downs. Being organized is the key to juggling 10 things at once. A person that is organized and has everything, it's easier said than done. I need to follow my own advice sometimes. But if you can plan it out, at least I would say at least a month in advance on what your schedule is gonna look like, who's gonna pick up the kids, who's gonna be there for the air conditioning repair guy, who's gonna visit this customer, you're gonna be okay, but be ready for it to change at a moment's notice. And I think as women, my sisters out here we can all get along and know that things are never gonna stay the same. There's always stuff that comes up, there's always kids that are sick, or a customer that's unhappy, or the electricity's shut off, or some crazy thing that happens that throws you a curveball. And entrepreneurial women are creative, men too. We know how to get the job done regardless of what's thrown at us. And we keep the positive attitude going, and we surround ourselves with people that are positive and there to help us become better people. And so organization is key. Cutting corners sometimes, working out of the house, to get started. We got into our first office after I was an agent for 6 months, and it was the most exciting day besides my wedding day and having my children, because I thought, oh my gosh, we're totally professional, now it's crazy. Like, our customers can come in and see us and feel confident in what the service we're providing. It's all baby steps, and it's all gonna come in time as long as you enjoy what you're doing and you enjoy the people that you're doing it with. So, employees, treat them with respect like you would want to be treated, and customers, treat them with respect and give them a service that's actually, frankly, so lacking right now in this day and age. And they'll stay with you forever. I have had customers for the whole 10 years of my career as an agent. And I'm going to continue, and I will never retire because I can never really step away from it, even though I've trained many good people to kind of pick up and do what I did. So it's a great industry, especially for a mom and a wife, to get into, because it's on my terms, and it's flexible, and I don't feel like I'm sacrificing my family to have a career that supports them. So
Thank you, Mo. That's perfect. So, we're getting ready to wrap up. This is what we're going to do. Are you ready? Yeah. How about one fabulous takeaway from each one of you for this fabulous group of people here? Let's start with Josh and move all the way down. How about that?
I think the biggest thing would be know your competition. Know who your competitors are, what are they doing to succeed, and see how you're going to make yourself different from them, and try to emphasize that. And second thing is don't respond to emails from Nigeria.
Mo, go ahead.
I think educate yourself. There's a lot of information out there that's free on the internet. Read as much as possible about the industry that you're interested in, you have passion about, and also surround yourself with positive people that can help you, and build your executive board from those people, and you'll continue to enjoy your career and grow it, and it will be successful.
Perfect. Leslie?
Awesome. I think my big one is fall in love with the problem, not a solution. And that may sound pretty basic, but I think a lot of people fall in love with their ideas of what their customers want, and they don't listen to their customers. So my recommendation is fall in love with a problem. Make sure your passion is around a problem. And that way, if something comes your way, right, and it's not the solution you had isn't the right one, you're going to be nimble, your knees are going to be bent, and you're going to be able to do something different to satisfy your customer's problem. I wish you all tons of luck, and I'm so psyched that you're all here. This is a great way to spend your day.
Thank you to everyone on the panel. I'll say, take advantage of free resources. Your family is first. Do what you love and succeed. Thank you, all of my panelists, and all of you being here today.